Soksabai, Kyom Winston. I'm so happy that I'm here, and I'm happy that I was invited to work with my friend Piset Kam. And I remember like years ago when I first came to Cambodia. This is, I think, 12 or 15 years ago already. So I'm so happy to have this moment to talk to you about the WES Method. The WES Method is a technique that I did not create because as a storyteller, as a musician, I was communicating with kids. I work a lot with kids as a storyteller. But then, as I was working with kids, I found out that these kids were a bit shy, a bit insecure. And as I wanted to help them, I thought about what is the best way to give these kids confidence, to help them be more proud of themselves. And these kids they wanted it, but they did not know that they wanted to feel proud. So as I was talking to them, I asked them, so what is your name? And they said, Mama. And I said, I don't understand your name. Please say your name with confidence. And that's how I start creating these techniques. And I came up with the technique about how powerful can you say your name? How powerful can you stand? How powerful can you have a meeting and just be powerful? And I was working with these kids for years. And the teachers came to me to say, what are you doing with these kids? Because I know this boy, he's so insecure normally, but now he walks around like he's a world champion. I said, well, I gave him one technique. It's called the WES Talk. And I showed the teacher, and she said, wow, this is amazing, Winston. Can we hire you to train all the other kids? I said, well, I'm an independent, so if we could do it on a contract base, that's fine, but I don't want to be placed in a school all day. That's not what I do. I travel a lot. She said, no problem, because we couldn't pay your fee anyway. So I started working with these kids. Now, let me tell you this. The hardest thing is to communicate with kids. This is what I believe. The hardest thing is to communicate with kids. Because if you are adult and somebody's telling you a story and the story is not interesting, you will sit there and listen and sit there and listen. If you tell a story to a kid and the story is not interesting, they go do something else. They will play with the boyfriend. They will do something else instead of listening to you. So what I found out, what I learned by me working with kids and the ability to tell them a story and they being interested, that was the secret about the WES Method. So I start working with these kids. I saw 1.5 million kids. That's how much I was working with kids. And then I was invited. A friend of mine said, Winston, what you are doing is very important. And I said, okay, if you say so. He said, no, listen to me. I work in the corporate section in Holland. I work with these big banks, ING, ABN, AMRO, Robeco. And I would like you to work with me, and we will train these corporate managers and directors with your technique. And to be honest, I didn't feel confident because I was confident working with kids, but I was not confident in the corporate world. So I had to get my identity and feel as powerful as I was teaching these kids. I had to wear a suit, which I was not comfortable wearing. Maybe you can understand this. But then I bought the suit and I started working with the corporate people. And you know what helped me? Because I saw these kids as adults. I took them very seriously. But now, going into the corporate world, these people were very, strict. And they were not playful. Some of them were not happy. So I thought, if I can make them feel powerful, secure, and confident, then I've done the same thing as I've done with the kids. So I started working with these people. And what they told me was, Winston, we've been working in this corporate world for so long. We had teachers come in and teach us about public speaking, but they never give us the techniques that you're talking about. How come? I said, well, I can tell you one thing, they did not work with kids. Really? I say, yes, because the truth of storytelling is with kids. Once you experience in that, you can tell anybody a story. So that was the difference. And I can tell you, my friends, my career went like, woof, because now all these corporate people start hiring me for one-on-one coaching. And their technique and their ability to address as a leader was like sky high. And my career went like sky high. My network was expanding just because of my storytelling abilities. I was working with people that were making billions. I wasn't making billions, but they become my friends. They were my network. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Just by being able to speak the way I speak, and the way I trained them, they wanted to be part of my network. Well, I don't have to tell you this, because you probably know, but they say your network is your net worth, right? The bigger your network is, the bigger your worth is. So I knew that by being able to speak as a leader, that was the secret. Now, there was another secret. The secret was, and I heard Pisette say it before, you have to be happy first. You have to take care of yourself first before you take care of somebody else. And many people make a mistake. They always want to take care of somebody else before they take care of themselves. And I teach them, don't do that. It sounds nice, but it is not true. Well, maybe you've flown before. You hear the stewardess say, well, if any case something happened, put on your oxygen mask first before you take care of your kids. Well, if that's true, then in life you always have to take care of yourself. If you cannot take care of yourself, how can you take care of somebody else? Now, because of that, the WES Method is split. It's like 7 steps, but it's split in 2. Why? Because I discovered that before I speak anywhere, and I'm telling you, my friends, I've spoken in front of 20,000 people. So that's a huge crowd. But the secret was, before I start speaking to anybody, I speak to myself. I connect to myself. I make sure that I'm okay. Because if I address a story to somebody that I don't know, I will be insecure. Because I don't know. But if I invite myself to connect to me first, I'm okay. And then I can give whatever energy, whatever love I want to do and give to my audience. By the way, when I went into this corporate world with the WES Method, I told you my life changed, right? This guy told me that after working with me, and we did 5 personal sessions, I call them VIP sessions. He came to my studio and we worked. 2 months later, he called me up. He said, Winston, how are you doing? I said, I'm doing fine. He said, listen, Winston, you helped me tremendously with my public speaking because I've gotten a promotion now and I have a new job. And he didn't tell me what he did to get the promotion, but he said, I'm getting a new function. I'm moving up. And now the person that is taking my job needs to speak and address 100 delegates from all over the world. They're flying into Rotterdam, and she has to do a speech. And he says, Winston, she's shaking. This was a company called Robeco. It's one of the biggest investment companies in the world. And she was shaking. He says, Winston, please, can you come and help her like you helped me? And I said, of course I can. We are friends now. I will help you. And I thought it would be 2 months, you know? He says, no, Winston, it's this week. I said, serious? This week? So he said, Winston, please make your schedule free for her. So I saw her on Monday, 2 hours, and I saw her on Wednesday, 1 hour, and I gave her the foundation of the WES Method. And on Thursday, she had to do the speech. I gave her the WES Method, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. I helped her to connect with herself. because she was worrying about the 100 delegates. She was worrying about her situation and her position. But after we worked Monday and Wednesday, I said, send me a message Thursday when you're done. And she sent me the message, and the message was, Winston, it was amazing. I was nervous, but nobody could detect. Nobody saw it. And everybody told me how great I did. I said, wow, that's amazing. I said, can you write a testimonial for me on LinkedIn? And she said, oh, of course I will. And she wrote a testimonial for me. Her name is Nicole Brass. 2 months later, I talked to my friend who invited me to do that job for him. And I said, so what happened with you? Why did you get a promotion? He said, Winston, it's incredible, man. He said, I'm a marketing specialist, analyst, and I have to tell stories all the time. And he said, I told my bosses that I did analysis about Robeco, and I found a way to improve their income. And at that time, they were making $600 million a year. That's a lot of money, right? He told them, by his analysis and his storytelling, he could bring them from 600 million to 1.6 billion. And they said, nah, that's not possible. He said, listen to me. He used the great storytelling techniques that I taught him, and he kept telling the story. I know I can do this. I am confident that my skills will help you to benefit from my analysis. And he kept on telling the same story. And maybe you know this, maybe you don't, but I have a rule. And the rule says, when two people meet, the one that is more confident, that is more convinced, will influence the other one. And he was more convinced. He had a goal. It was a financial goal, and he went for it. Now, my friends, I'm telling you this. This is a true story. His name is Vincent Hoplot. He talked to these people, and he was so convinced that they said, you know, finally, go ahead, try it. But they thought he would not succeed. Have you ever had it that somebody tells you, you're not going to succeed. You can try, but you're not. Anybody has an experience with that they tell you that it's not going to work, or your goal is too big? Raise your hands at him and say, no, don't do it. It's too big a goal. You cannot succeed with that. And he didn't believe them. So what he did was, he did his work. And after 1 year, he did not bring them to 1.6 billion. No. Can you guess what it was, what the number was that he brought Robeco by telling a story and doing his analysis? Write it down for me. What number did he achieve by telling his story? And it's, I see 4 billion. Nice try, but hey, you gotta do something else. Come up with this number. 6, yes, you're very close. 6 billions, my friend. 6 billion. Can you understand what happened to him? Just by him telling a powerful story and could back that up, he became global marketing officer of Robeco. He's my friend. Now I have a person that is a global marketing officer. I told you about your network is your net worth, right? He was traveling all over the world to do what he did for Robeco and tell that story. He was helping people in Korea. He was helping people in Saudi Arabia. He was flying over just to tell his story and to help him reach his goal, his financial goals. Now, this story is such a great story, and he didn't want to tell that story. He just wanted to do the analysis. I said, you have to tell the story because you will inspire other people. When you tell your story, you don't know who you're inspiring. That's why I'm a storyteller. You don't know. After a couple of years doing this, he said to himself, you know what? I have personal goals as well. And I have material goals, and I have financial goals. You know what he did? He quit the job at Robeco. Can you believe that? You know what he said? He said, if I can do that for Robeco, I can do it for myself. You hear the storyline coming up now? He was taking care of other people's money, and he said, now I'm going to take care of my own money. and he started his own company. Now, starting a company is very difficult, but he has clear financial goals, he had clear material goals, and he had clear personal goals. And he started his company, and with a technique, I can tell you now, my friends, that his company is worth 100 million euros at this moment. Isn't that a great story? Just from storytelling, just from doing his work very, very well, I might say. So by telling you this little story, I'm telling you that storytelling, I think, is the oldest profession in the world. The benefits for you to be confident telling your story is that you become a leader. I have made like a small presentation here. It's not a big one, but it's a small one. It's to become a leader, right? And I told you about leading kids. That's the hardest thing to do. Look, I work with these kids, and I do one thing, and they copy me, right? They follow the leader, right? Now, the picture beneath is when I did it in Cambodia. The beneath one, I did the storytelling in Cambodia, in Phnom Penh. I was invited, and at a moment, I told a story, and I finished the story, and this little, I think it's a little girl, everybody was gone, and this little girl was still standing in the room, and she was looking at me. And I asked the teacher, who is that? She says, well, that's the king's granddaughter. I said, what? The king's granddaughter. I said, but why is she standing there? She goes, well, she's special, and she recognized you as being special. Your storytelling was so captivating that she forgot the world, and she wanted to listen to you more. I said, my heart was like, I was so emotional with that, because I knew that kid is not lying. That's the truth, and the teacher is not lying. So again, I'm telling you, when you tell your story, it doesn't matter where you are. You can influence people, your kids, your business partners, your network, in a positive way, I'm saying. So the confidence of a storyteller with the WES Method that I created and that I received, that's what the benefits are that in business, in your personal life, and basically in any situation, you will be more confident, you will feel happier, and you will inspire a lot of people. That's why I say inspire, speak, and sell. This story is about my focus, right? I was in Cambodia, I did my work, and I was invited to work with somebody from the US. He was a colonel in the military. And I worked with him because he needed a better communication. And at the end, I worked with him in Phnom Penh. I gave him some techniques, and he used the techniques. And I'm not saying that it was only the techniques. Of course not. I'm not that, confident. He has his skill. He wrote me, he said, Winston, when I started with you, I was a colonel, and now I am a major general. I said, wow, that's such a leap in his confidence and his ability to reach and to communicate with people. Again, my storytelling, the techniques that I'm sharing with you, it's all about how can you influence yourself first and then influence somebody else. That's what it's all about. Well, like I said, I work with people, I coach them one-on-one, I coach them in a group, and what they give me back is their life changed. Their life is never the same because now they have a skill that, money, you cannot put money towards that skill. You become a leader, like I said. And I, as I'm sitting now here, I just came back from Ghana, in Africa, in West Africa. It was my first time. And what I noticed there, people are telling stories. Whether they are selling cookies on the street, like Phnom Penh, I've saw people selling food. You have to have a story ready. Doesn't matter who you are. You have to be your own leader first. Let me go through the steps for you, because I'm not going to go too deep into it, but just give you the highlights. The first one is the WES stance. And that takes care of your balance. And I saw P-Set do exercises with you to balance and ground yourself. That is the first and most important thing in any situation. So that it doesn't matter anymore whether you're talking to your corporate, your kid, your best friend. You will be confident because you're connected and grounded. Breathing is something that people do, like they don't take care of their breathing, I notice. So WES breath is a way to control your breathing in such a way that you become more calm. You become more centered, more zen, as they say in Europe. The state is, what is your state? What is the state you want to be at when you are in any situation? Are you a happy person or are you, moody person? Well, the state is, just put a smile on your face. It's free of charge. It doesn't cost you any money. Let me move on to this one. Then we start with the talk. When you talk, how do you talk? Do you talk because you want to tell a story, or you talk because you want to help people understand you? So I have this rule in the WES Method. I said, the moment you start telling a story, you can talk about yourself, but it's not about you. So this means you have to pay attention to your audience. And many people tell me in the beginning when they work with me, they say, yes, but Winston, it feels like I'm acting. And I say, well, go figure. You're acting the whole day, but you're not doing it consciously. And what I'm teaching you to do is be conscious of your acting, because we play a role every day. We have maybe 5, 6, or 7 roles that we play daily. If it's not true, please tell me, right? Do you play a role every day, maybe 5 or 6 roles? Yes or no? By show of hands. Yes, you play a role, because sometimes you're a mother, sometimes you're a friend, you're a husband, you're a colleague, you're the boss. These are all different roles. And when you know the best role, that means you are in flow. The best role you play in flow. You don't have to think anymore. That's the most important thing. And because of that, I created a word, and I call it, because you know what happens with me, my brain, I'm a bit, my brain is very creative. So if that's not a word for what I'm thinking, I create it. To be able to connect with all your personalities of telling a story, of being a leader, I created this word, MPO, multiple personality order. And if you're a medical doctor, you know there's a term called multiple personality disorder. These people don't have control of the different personalities. And this technique will help you in any situation to tell the story from the personality that you need to have. And it's going to be instant. So I'm going through these things just to show you that it's very important to have techniques. Sure, personal connecting with your story, great. But these techniques will help you to be on stage and be powerful. Be at home and be powerful. Now, are there any questions? Because, like you know, I can talk all day. My workshop sometimes is 12 hours, but I want to make it very interactive. So is there anything you want to ask me, or you want to add, or am I going too fast? Am I going too slow? That kind of deal. Because just to sideline, the 13th and the 14th, what we're going to do one session with public speaking, the WES Method, whole day. And one day we're going to do the goal setting. We're going to work with your personal goals. We're going to work with your financial goals, your material goals. Like my friend, I told you about Vincent Hoplot, who had a financial goal with the company of Rubico, and he brought them to 6 billion. Now, in order to do that, you got to take massive action. So in the 12-hour transformation, I will talk about and teach you how to take action daily and actively and make your goals so big that it becomes scary. Because if we had done the workshop with my friend Vincent, and I told him, well, you have to make your goal to 6 billion, he would be scared. But he knew he had something, and he took action. Not once, not twice, but maybe 6, 7 times before he convinced the board that to let him do his work. So in order to take action, what do you have to believe? Do you believe like a adult or you believe like a kid? You know? Children have such a great imagination. They think they can fly. And we, the grown-ups, nah, you cannot fly. But the kids can fly because they believe it. So you have to have that ability as a kid to feel that, yes, I can do this. Even people will tell you, no, you cannot do this. A kid will do it. Because when you think it, it's already happened. Right? And for the goal setting, you got to have sustainable development goals. You got to think about your personal goals, financial goals, your material goals. And like I said, take massive action. So now this workshop, this masterclass, 12 hours, it's a transformational workshop. I've done it for years already, and everybody that went through this program changed for the better. They make more money, they are happier, they have better personal goals, and they have better material goals. And you know what else? They can take care of themselves, and then they have money or things enough to give away. Isn't that great? You make enough money that you can give money away. You don't care. Or maybe you care because you want to give away. Yeah, you can give it away without suffering yourself. So this is what this masterclass is about, is to help you achieve beyond your imagination. Such grace that you become scared of your goals. When I tell you, nah, you can't do it, now call this person up. Yeah, but I can't call this person. I don't know this person. Well, you can come up with a story, and this person will be interesting and interested to talk to you. I believe that any leader, true leader, you call him or her up, and you come up with a good story, he or she will make time for you. This is what I've done. Sometimes I call somebody up and say, hey, listen, my name is Winston Skolsberg. Can I have 2 minutes of your time? You go, 2 minutes? Yeah. You know what? If I take more than 2 minutes of your time, I will donate 50 euros to a course you have for me. And then I clock it, 2 minutes, I stop. I make it challenging. I make it interesting. It's about the storytelling. So again, when you have these goals, when you take them, you take action, you will have weapons of mass destruction. Let me move a little bit here. We all have them, right? You recognize them? Who has these massive weapons of mass distractions? We all have them, right? Be honest. By show of hands, who recognizes this? I have them too. Spend too much time on my iPhone. Spend too much time talking. So I will help you to allocate and prioritize your time and your goals. And again, listen, like I said, I can talk all day. So if it's okay with you, let's go to the question and answers. What questions you have for me, or any things that I can clarify?
Winston, it's me, Pirit. I'm so inspired from your sharing about the way how to inspire others. But I have one question: how to keep our stance, our flow of sharing to be more inspired? Actually, confidence sometimes come up a few minutes, or sometimes a few 30 minutes first, and then later on we just come lower energy and lower the idea. It become nervous. That how to build up and keep maintain our idea flow to be energetic the whole talking. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your question. What a beautiful question. Well, I love the question because the question is based on the WES Method, the 7 steps. Like I told you, step 1, 2, 3 of the WES Method is all about me, about you, right? It's all about you. You got to take care of yourself. So what I've discovered is when you become nervous, this means you did not take care of yourself and you worry about what people think about you. And because you don't know what they think, you become insecure. So the solution is go back to step 1, 2, 3, rooted foundation, grounded. Take your breath and put a smile on your face because you're happy. And then people see you happy and they become happy. Like I said, when 2 people meet, The one is more confident will influence the other one. I hope I answer your question correctly. Anybody else wants to ask me a question or say something about what I shared? Okay, somebody has a question. That is Hing Sok Pal.
I have a question. How do we keep our motivation and discipline up? Because the first, when we set our goals, the first 1 or 2 days, our discipline and motivation is so high, and after that, it just goes down.
Yes, great question again. Thank you for this question. Well, how to keep your motivation and your inspiration? I told you about your network, right? Okay, I'm going to give you 2 crazy examples that I use myself to keep myself motivated, okay? It's a crazy story, but it worked for me. And my clients, they were happy with this solution. 1, I always, when I work with a system, I will teach you when you come to the workshop and the masterclass on the 13th and the 14th is a system. Because to be motivated, you got to be focused. Let's say you have 10 goals and you're going to focus on all 10. That's not going to work. So you have to prioritize. Let's say you take the top 3 and you focus on the top 3. That's easier than working on 10 goals at the same time. That's one way to stay focused and to keep focused. 2 is find a buddy, somebody you can work with, and the person is accountable. You know, some people, you tell them a story, say, that's not true. Find somebody like that. That person will keep you accountable, and you make a deal with him or her and say, listen, I'm going to do this, and you're going to check on me. That's a great way to do it. That's the second solution that I've used. The third one is a bit crazy. I'll be honest. What I've done myself, and I teach my clients to do this, I ask my client, actually, what is it that you hate to do or to eat? What don't you like about food?
Like durian.
Okay, I know that. It smells, huh? It smells. Okay. This is what I've done with my client, right? Let's say you were my personal client in my VIP training. I would say, okay, you don't like durian, right? So what goals do you have? 1, 2, 3. You're going to do this daily. You're going to do blah, blah. You said you're going to do it. Okay, I'm going to do it, Winston. Now, buy 1 durian, cut it up, and put it in your fridge. You don't like it, but I'm sure that if you don't call me every day and tell me that you did your homework, I will come to your house and I'll make you eat the durian. You will go, ugh, no, I don't want to do it. Now you will remember that I said it and I will do it. I have done it myself with cat food. I hate it. I will never eat it. So I bought 3 cans. 1 in my fridge, 1 in my living room, and 1 in my bedroom. Every day I saw the cat food. I'm like, I'm not going to eat it. And I told a friend of mine, Winston is going to do this, this, this. If I don't do it, you can come here and open the can and I will eat it. That's how I reach my goals. So I give you 3 options, okay? Use 1 or 2 and see if you're not getting any results. That's how you stay motivated. Sometimes you go to the gym, you go by yourself, you work out, yeah. You go with a friend, you work out even more. You go with a personal trainer, he's going to pump. You work even more. So we need motivation. Even the biggest speakers that I train, they work for thousands and 10,000 people. I have to keep them motivated. So everybody, and that's why you become a nerd, a never-ending researcher and developer. You can make mistakes, and as long as you learn from the mistakes. Anybody else wants to ask a question about what I just discovered and what I just shared with you?
Okay, I have one question. You talk about the MPO, multiple personal order. Can you give any example of that?
Yes, I have. Okay, so I'm sitting here in my studio in The Hague, and I'm doing a presentation, right? Yeah. This is new, right? We are new to video conference calls, okay? For 2 years, we're doing it. My identity is different if you meet me face to face. So that's one identity. So multiple personality order says this. Winston, me, I am now a video conference call inspirational speaker trainer. So I've got to keep my energy up. I got to keep you here. If you would sit in front of me, I would not talk to you like, that's too much. There's a different personality I have to use. If I go outside and somebody says, hi, Winston, and I will say, hey, how are you? I will not do that. I'll say, hey, how are you? I'm calmer, right? If I go to work, it's a different energy. So multiple, it's more than one, personalities. Order is that I know exactly how to act, to talk in any situation. Wow, these were great questions. And
I have one question about how to be a powerful storyteller.
yeah, you know, the secret about the powerful storyteller is that we think that we have to think about the story. I can tell you with the WES Method and the techniques, I tell you to feel the story. When you speak from your heart, people will feel it. People will attach to your story. And that is powerful. That's more powerful than from the head. And I have these techniques developed. And when you come to the masterclass, so the masterclass is not about theory. It's about practice. This is what a nerd does, right? A nerd makes a mistake. So I hope you become a nerd. You make a mistake. You look at what went wrong, what went right. How can I improve? And you improve. You do it again. Do it again with a smile on your face. Do it again. So I've done more than 10,000 performances as a storyteller, and I'm still improving. So my friend, make mistakes, learn from them, and grow. Film yourself, look back at it, and you will see you become powerful every day, every minute. That's the secret. Don't be a perfectionist, please. Be a nerd.